You're listening to Two Hotheads on Cannabis with your hosts, Mike Cann and Heather Mack on unregularradio.com.
Feels good.
You're listening to Two Hotheads on Cannabis. That was Carmelita, and that was Heather Mack.
And that was Solo Sax before Willie.
Yeah.
That was my band, so I'm going to represent. And I saw you jumping around.
I was dancing.
We need to slap some spandex on you and call you the Sexketeer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I already am.
Well,
I joined that show when I saw you perform. You saw me.
No, I know. You're very
but
limber.
I'm not, yeah. And in the studio dancing.
Yeah, we'll get you a leotard and some fresh new high tops. You'll be good to go.
Oh man, I don't know.
That'll be
I don't know if anyone wants to see a leotard.
Gift.
Newman, do you want to see me in a leotard?
Of course not, Mike Cann.
We should do a cannabis activist.
Mike Simpson, do you want to see me?
Naked calendar.
No, I don't want to. Not whatsoever.
I was worried about that, but I'm glad you said that.
Did nobody hear my brilliant idea?
Cannabis activist?
Naked calendar.
Naked.
A fundraiser. Let's ask Allen St. What do you think when he comes on?
It would raise a lot of money, maybe. I don't know. Actually, would it?
Maybe Keith Stroup is down. We should call Matt Simon up again. Who else would we like to see?
We are going to be talking to Keith Stroup if he wants to talk to us after we're talking about this naked activist calendar.
Yeah. We always need money. This could be the way to bring the tribes together to solve this friction between the medical community and the legalization community and all of that, which I don't see as mutually exclusive at all. Why can't we all?
I know.
Why can't we be friends?
Seriously, especially on things that are important like this.
It's a serious stuff.
I think we said this earlier, but let's get into this this whole thing. And I'm missing my top page. I don't know what happened. I'll give it a. Mike Simpson over there. You got that, Mike?
Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah, I had my notes.
You need it more than me. It's not like my first day.
This one? Here it is. All right. It's NORML's Allen St. Pierre calls medical cannabis industry a farce and a sham, is what the original headline was on this story. And it was changed to Allen St. Pierre on medical marijuana.
That was tactful.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what people are reacting to. The story is like, it doesn't tell where he was quoted from, and basically it sounds like he sent it through a private email list. Right?
Personal correspondence.
Yeah.
That then got
broadcast. It's somewhat public. I mean, a listserv is somewhat public. Let's it'd be clear. I mean, I've been guilty of this myself. You think it's still kind of public, and it is basically public by law, I would imagine. So I don't think it's, but I think it should be noted that, like, it's when you send something out, a lot of times it's who is it targeted to, and I think that this group was a highly
supporters.
Yeah, these are the high end supporters, the lawyers, the real activists, the business people. Hey, if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, should I open a dispensary?" I say, "Jesus Christ, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to?" And people could attack me for saying this, but this is the truth. Why would you want to, at best, make a lot of money, $5, $10, $20 million, but still 5-10 years later, the feds, maybe it's 3 years later, the feds come in, take all your property, take all your money, put you in court for years, arrest all your friends and your employees.
Yep.
Why do you want to go through that?
Well, the goal right now is to divide and conquer, and have too many states that are changing the laws for the feds to be able to attack it. But as of right now, I mean, they haven't let up, and Obama has gone back on his previous statement and position on it. And so, I agree with you completely about that.
So why are we messing around? Why are we letting them win? Like, let's just legalize it for medical, for recreational, for industrial use. For food, for all the things that people talk about. Like, people get all upset and they say, "Oh, NORML's against." No, NORML wants to come up with the best policy. If you have a good idea, and I agree with you, these people, they want to not tax food. Cannabis is food, so in those cases, it shouldn't be taxed. We can come up with a bill that covers everything. There is smoke. People want to smoke it. Let's be serious. Let's be truthful in this community. And that's what Allen was doing in this email. Allen sent out a great friggin' email that told the truth with links, with information. Sometimes I wonder why these guys don't go further against this crap that's going on in California. Because I'm going to call it out. we know what's going on. You know, Allen St. Pierre told the truth. So if you're mad at the truth, fix what's going on that you're embarrassed of. Because these guys, these drug warriors, know exactly what is going on. They know exactly what is going on. So don't say Allen St. Pierre. Come on. I'm really upset by what's going on online, Facebook and Twitter.
Well, let's see. What exactly did he say? Let's break it down. You know, pretty much what his point is that the medical, system has been largely delegitimized in terms of the capitalist aspect of it, the doc shops in California and this and that what we should do is unify as a movement towards full legalization for both patients and non-patients alike.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I think this is less about, a lot of people are, saying that this is just, petty infighting or this and that. But, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the medical community just left, Prop 19 high and dry. And that was a huge, factor in why Prop 19 was not successful. And it was a big bummer because it was the biggest opportunity this country has ever seen in terms of drug legalization on a massive scale. And there's some battle scars there. There's some open wounds about why was the medical community delegitimizing us. It really not the medical patients, but the capitalist end of it, the consumer side, the supply chain. And it was because they're making huge profits in that system, and I have to agree with Alan on this.
And yet we have to be careful because I from the other side, the other side of it, they will say not everyone in the medical, so many people in the medical community did support that proposition.
That's true.
The guy who funded it is a medical marijuana, dispensary owner. Yeah. So, even there it's split. But I think your point is still valid that there wasn't as much support as there should have been.
It's true.
There were some people who were actually campaigning against it.
Yeah,
the
actively,
people
very actively.
that grow it and sell it up in California, Mendocino, they were against it actively, and they probably always will be unless we get a little smarter in the way that we talk to them. Because I think that they need to see that they could make even more money if we just remove this prohibition. They're going to become like Napa Valley, the vineyard. It's going to be like you're going to be making even more money, and no one's going to bug you anymore. You don't have to kill anyone. You don't have to. There's no poachers. You have no competition. You are the kingpins of the world of this product. This great thing that we have. So let's get Keith Stroup. Can I say his name? Can you help me out with this?
All right, we'll say it. Let's stretch our mouths out and say Stroup.
Keith Stroup on the phone.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Bing bong, it's 420. Two Hotheads on Cannabis on Unregular Radio. Stay tuned because more wackiness is sure to ensue.
Now we're back from 420. I hope you're celebrating 420. We were talking about Keith Stroup, and then we had 420. I think that's perfect. I mean, the two things kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
I suppose, yeah, definitely.
I could see Keith Stroup at 420. It's a good time to give him a call and bring up his name because we're going to be talking to Keith Stroup about this story and the comments and what NORML side of the story is.
Take a short break. Be back with Keith.
Yeah, what music are we going to listen to, Newman, in between?
DJ Slim with You.
All right, so we're going to play DJ Slim, and then we're going to come back with Keith from NORML.
UnregularRadio.com.
DJ Slim, MassCann.
What's good, Mike?
Batman and Robin are back.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you about my new website. My new project, Slim, 420mass.com.
Oh, yeah.
I know you know.
Hell yeah.
It's a new online community to get the word out. Legalization is happening.
Tell the world.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yo, Mike, let me tell them for you. Let me tell the world about 420mass.com. 420 Mass is the state where we fought to get weed to crib. Now to the police, they act like it never happened. Word on the street, real smokers still getting harassed. Now to the state, it's all about that cash. $100 citation for each and every smoker. You do the math, a lot of money that they making. The money that the state gets from us is the same. We shouldn't be getting fined for smoking a little weed. Got peace behind bars of small possessions of weed. We got to come together, y'all, help to fight the machine. You could help change the laws, get our smokers free, so they can become a part of this society. I'm not talking about riot, looting, or vandalism. If we took that route, we all end up in prison. Talking about signing petitions, voting, and representing the normal chapter that you live close to. 420mass.com, not about smoking weed. We about making weed legal and having freedom of speech. About making weed legal and having freedom of speech.
Most people think we win by talking about good talking points, by coming up with a good debate. But you know, that ain't right. Nah. We already won the debate.
That's right.
We already won. The majority know. We support it. Legalization.
Legalize it. Yeah. Legalize it, y'all. People talk about weed being that gateway drug. This non-smokers showing that negative love. People so quick to badmouth marijuana before they research the effects that it has on us. Some people get sleepy, some people think everything's funny. Everybody I know get the munchies and 420 mass. We need dispensaries quick. We can help the ones in pain and help heal the sick. So many people passed away before giving weed a try. Saved their life. The sick need to be informed. 420mass.com will be the platform, a place for people to network. Real activism, come join the movement. Call MassCann, he's the man with the movement. He's also the Boston NORML chapter president. And on this topic here, he's never hesitant. 420mass.com and Puff Pass Records, standing up for the cause while everyone else is sitting. You down for the fight? Come join the website. 420mass.com, they got exactly what you like.
420 Mass, promote our activism, music, videos, blogs, socialize and network.
Yeah.
Promote our actions, rally and events for every state and nation.
Yeah. Tell them MassCann.
420 Mass.
It's the movement.
Our time is coming.
Yeah. Stand up, y'all. 420mass.com. Puff Pass Records. We the future.
You're listening to the THC Show with MassCann, only on unregularradio.com.
We're live back on the THC Show.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. We got a full studio. We got Heather, Mack co-hosting today.
Hey, hey.
We got Mike Simpson here.
Hey, how you doing?
Nikki and Tommy.
Hello.
Hey.
Nikki from MassCann NORML, the secretary of MassCann NORML. Glenn Prescott, also a board director with MassCann NORML.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
And Mike Simpson behind the board.
No, that's
No,
Mike
I'm
Newman.
not.
I mean, Mike Newman. What am I talking about? I'm losing it as usual. I'm very nervous right now. We got a big phone call. Mike Newman.
Yeah.
Newman. We always call him Newman. Back behind the board this week. And we're having a big show already. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
I'm so good to go.
I feel so good, too. It's like so like, wow. This is our first thing today. You know what I mean? We were on the radio today in the past, but this is different today.
No, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. We're getting to know each other. We're getting limber, getting rude.
And who's on the phone right now? Who do we have waiting patiently? Do you know?
Oh, I know.
You want to introduce him? How about we both do this? Because this is kind of an honor.
Okay, this is a big deal. And so on the count of three, and we're going to pronounce his name right.
Yeah, can we do his name right this time?
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Keith Stroup. There we go.
Yeah. He's the guy that started NORML. Then, when you think of NORML, you have to realize that there's chapters everywhere. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for this guy, there wouldn't be chapters everywhere. There wouldn't be a Boston Freedom Rally. There wouldn't be a MassCann NORML. because he just basically came up with this idea to do this and did it. And think of how many chapters there are, and one person came up with that idea. And I think we can ask him about that. But we're talking about the big story of the day, and his name is Keith Stroup. Keith, are you still hanging out, waiting for us?
I am indeed. You guys are making me feel like I might have died. You know, I might be listening to my own funeral here. But you're very kind. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, no, we're not trying to make it sound like a funeral. Unless
Well, I can guarantee you, by the way, that whether or not I had done it, there were lots of people that were interested in legalizing marijuana when I was first starting NORML. And in fact, there was a group called LEMAR out of New York that Michael Aldrich and Allen Ginsberg and those folks had started way back in the late 50s. And about the same time I started NORML, Amorphia was started on the West Coast. So I think it was the time in which the culture was surfacing. And while I appreciate the credit you were giving me, I think it's more than I deserve. Thank you.
You seize the momentum of a movement that's still going strong, but is having some serious fractures in its facade right now.
Probably part of those might be considered growing pains. I think with the movement. I mean, you know, when you think about it, when you talk about legalizing marijuana, but it seems a long distance off, then it's easy for those of us on our side of the issue to agree. We all want to stop arresting smokers and we want marijuana legalized. But as you get closer, as you make actual political progress and you get close to the end, then all of a sudden what becomes important is, what does legalization actually look like? What kind of a system are we going to adopt? Is it going to be uniform? What rights are smokers going to have versus the industry? So I think what we're beginning to see are natural growing pains, and in the end, we'll work through these, and we'll probably end up understanding better that we have to kind of hang together here. It's fine to disagree on internal policy, but in the end, we all favor legalizing marijuana.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Repeal that prohibition. Let us have freedom of this plant.
Yeah, and again, in some states, certainly if you live in Colorado or California, you are in the heart of almost a revolution. I mean, when one is out there physically, you can feel the difference. The industry has come above ground. Yeah. Most of the rest of us in the rest of the country, the marijuana culture is still underground, largely, but not in Colorado and not in California. And as a result, I think for people in those two states, sometimes they're feeling pretty comfortable, and they don't really want to hear any criticism about how things are going there. And I can understand that. I think if I lived there, I would feel a lot of pride about what had been accomplished. On the other hand, if you have a national perspective, what you realize is that most people who smoke marijuana are still not protected because they don't live in Colorado or California, and because of a lot of, I think we could agree, a lot of bad press that has circulated, especially focusing on some of the excesses in California, it's caused us political trouble in some other states. It's far more difficult to get a medical use bill passed today than it was a couple of years ago, and even when we do get one passed today, it tends to be very conservative, like the New Jersey model right now, and the District of Columbia model.
Like I said, like the dispensaries will never open, Keith, in New Jersey.
I think you're probably right. I fear that.
In Massachusetts?
And I'm not sure they'll open in the District of Columbia either, although I'm actually meeting with former Mayor Marion Barry next week to talk about a bill maybe to move even beyond medical use here and just totally decriminalize it. But as I say, I understand how people get sensitive about criticism of some of the excesses, and I hope those people will understand that we are all on the same team. We still are, but it doesn't do us any good to keep our head in the sand and act as if everything is perfect. It's not perfect. Some of the excesses in California are truly hurting us politically around the country. So I think it's in all of our interest to begin to focus a little more on a full legalization system where the government has no business knowing whether we smoke or why we smoke. It's not enough simply to protect the patients, because most marijuana smokers are not patients.
True. Yeah. And so many are still being arrested in these states, in a lot of these states.
In fact, something like, I think in Washington State, I just saw the figure that Dominic Holden had an interesting article out there in The Stranger, that there's a split going on in Washington State over the terms of a couple of competing initiatives. And the problem is that if we don't pass one of them, we'll continue arresting roughly 60,000 people a year in the state of Washington. And even though the initiative that has the best chance of passing certainly is not perfect, it's got some bad provisions that should have been corrected in the drafting. But when you look at it from the standpoint of, right now we have 60,000 smokers a year being arrested in Washington, and if we pass this, that number will be just a few hundred, I would presume. I'll tell you, I think I can accept a less than perfect initiative, Absolutely. And I think that's part of what we all have to kind of gather around and agree to.
Yes.
We don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the perfect to be the enemy of the good.
That's absolutely true, and we've seen that, you know, with all sorts of campaigns. I mean, the same thing happened with Prop 19. You know. Yes,
I think you're right. I think some of the lack of support we enjoyed from the growers in Northern California, there was a reason. I mean, I think the next time around, we need to find a meaningful role so that those people who've taken felony risks for years to grow high-quality marijuana, so those of us who smoke would have some, we need to make sure they have a meaningful role to play, that we don't inadvertently put them out of business. But we also need to make sure that we all agree going in, even if it's not perfect, it's a lot better than the system today.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Keith, I wanted to get back to the article that was on Celebstoner as well. Just to kind of, because I think you guys are really being railroaded on this. I mean,
for one thing, but please understand, that was not actually an article. What it was a private email that Allen St. Pierre had posted on the NORML Legal Committee listserv about 2 months ago. And it was in response to something someone else had posted, and it probably could have been phrased a little more gently, and one would have if it was directed.
It was directed to a certain audience, though, that can handle that language.
That's correct, and nowhere in there was he suggesting that marijuana isn't a valuable medicine, because of course it is, and everybody recognizes that. What he was pointing out is that the current systems, in particular the lack of a system in California, is not a good situation, and it's causing us a lot of problems. Unfortunately, that was perceived by people as, by some people, as being an attack on medical marijuana, and that somehow NORML no longer supported medical marijuana. Of course we support the medical use of marijuana, and we'll continue to put a certain amount of our resources in that area, but it is true that we are, I think at the board of directors level, we are in the process of trying to gradually shift more and more of our attention and resources over to work on full legalization proposals, not limited just to patients. But it was not intended to suggest that patients don't legitimately have a need for medical marijuana. I mean, of course they do.
The words were right there. I mean, he clearly states, you know, the law, he's basically, as a lawyer, and even anyone as a business person would say the same thing. The law and court precedents are fairly clear here. Self-preservation, yes. That means if I'm a medical user, I am getting something out of these medical marijuana laws. That's great. That is what he's saying. And then Allen said large-scale cultivation and sales, no. He's basically advising people not to get into that business because you will get busted. They will take all of your money. You could be a kingpin for 5 years, but eventually, if they want to, and which is highly likely, which is happening now, they're taking people down. Is that exactly what this was to lawyers, to other people that should know this information as an analyst? Is that what was in this?
No, you're absolutely right. I think you've characterized it accurately. And also, by the way, to not acknowledge the 800-pound elephant in the room would be silly. I mean, they're literally, we've had some internal discussions with colleagues we work with in California, for example, and a few in Colorado, where they do not believe there's any political backlash. You know, they think we're making that up. They don't understand that when we have a sponsor of a medical use bill on the East Coast now, what they usually do is when they introduce the bill, the first point they make is they don't want it to have anything at all to do or look like the California situation. So you can't just deny. Some people were saying, for example, by Allen acknowledging that that now when we're trying to move a bill, say, in the state of Texas, that some legislator is going to stand up and say, well, look, even NORML says medical marijuana is a sham.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what he said.
Yeah, it's not what he said. It was mislabeled.
What he suggested was the system in place in California needs some work. And I guarantee you that when Texas finally legalizes medical marijuana, it will not look anything like California. And it's not because NORML pointed it out. It's because people already are quite aware of those excesses. So I don't think it's smart to put our head in the sand and act as if the system is perfect. It isn't.
Yeah. And tell the truth, and that's all Allen did. He basically telling the audience that wanted some information the truth. What is so wrong about that?
I agree. I think sometimes that's the role of an advocate. I mean, it's true. One of the questions here is, should NORML be a cheerleader, or should we be a credible source for legalization, information, and advocacy? Obviously, we try to be the latter. There are times when we are cheerleaders for the culture, and we certainly try to give attention to people who accomplish things, especially if they do things that are going to help us advance legalization. But cheerleading at some point has a very little value. We have to have credibility when we approach elected officials and when we speak in the press. And so I think all Allen was doing was trying to maintain a certain degree of credibility. And, some of our colleagues, I guess, would prefer that we just be cheerleaders.
Yeah, I think so. And I like it. Like, I'm glad you list the reasons, you put out good information, you tell the truth. That's what I want. I want to know what's going on.
And I think over time people will see that this is certainly not some shift that means we're not going to be supporting patients or that we think the medical use issue doesn't have merit. No, of course not. I mean, I think that's 80% of the American public support the medical use of marijuana. So I think we've largely won that issue. We still obviously have a lot of states where it has to be enacted because politicians tend to be timid on these kinds of issues. But that'll work itself out in the next few years. It will not, however. I think here's the essence of it. In some places, and California was the main place, where they really had a sort of a strategy, which was partly public and partly not, that said the way to get marijuana legalized is let's talk about medical use, but let's define medical use so broadly that everyone in the state qualifies. Now, Dennis Perrone even said publicly, as you recall, all use is medical use. Well, in some ways, as an internal cheerleader, I guess that's probably all right for him to have said. But it's hurt us politically, of course. All use is not medical use. I've been smoking 46 years, and I don't use it as a medicine. I use it to relax in the evening. And so to confuse those two concepts means that when we go talk about medical use in other states, they now sometimes, often, fear that what we're really trying to do is sneak in a legalization system.
Sure.
No. We need to legalize medical use for patients who honestly need it and benefit from it. But for those of us who smoke it recreationally or for personal use in the evening, no, I don't want to have to act as if I'm sick. I don't want to have to pay some pot doc some money so that I can be left alone. I want to win the political right that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the responsible use of marijuana by adults, period.
Exactly.
I agree.
And I mean, it's very short-sighted in this sense that, these two things, these this is all part of one movement and one message. They're not mutually exclusive concepts, and it seemed to have always been this sticking point about, which to go for next. Let's go for it all. Let's go for it all. I
think it depends on where you are. If there's support for full legalization, of course you would go for that. But in most states, medical use is likely going to be the middle step. I don't have any problem with that. But I think your point is the valid one. We're all part of the same legalization movement, but NORML, at least, is never going to take the position that the way to get marijuana legalized is to act as if all smokers are sick. That's a self-defeating strategy, and it's dishonest. And it's not. We didn't work 4 decades to act like we're sick.
2013 in Massachusetts, I might be coming down with some chronic back pain or.
Well, I can understand. By the way, it's almost like a get out of jail card. Of course, if you live in a state where you have that option, it's difficult not to take it. But at the same time, I think you recognize as you do it that that's not really what you're after in the end. In the end, you want the government to leave you alone. It's your decision whether you drink alcohol or smoke marijuana, period.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can we get that clapping track again?
And other, and other uses. And other uses. You know, some of these activists bring up things, Keith.
There we go.
On Facebook, some of them have legitimate...
I appreciate the applause.
Keith,
well, you know, I think those of you who are in the media and have your own shows and stuff, you can help over the next few weeks. This will get behind us. We've had conflicts before in the movement, and I'm sure we'll have others. As I say, I honestly think it's part of the growth of the issue. It's just a natural process. I trust we don't have too many people with hurt feelings for too long, because we all kind of need to get back to work.
Yeah.
We're in the gawky preteen phase of the drug reform movement in this country.
Definitely.
It's an awkward time.
Yeah. Well, I think
it is. But on the other hand, think how far we've come.
In
that sense, it's almost like acknowledgement that we're getting close to victory, because we're kind of fighting over the spoils even before we get the spoils.
Yeah,
that's
and we've
true.
had some of the spoils.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen a little taste of it. There's no doubt about that. And as I say, I have a little sympathy for some of those folks in California, for example, who figure, hey, I can get marijuana anytime I want it, I can sell it, I can buy it. Most people don't seem to get bothered by the law, regardless of their medical condition. So, you know, they're naturally basically saying, leave us alone. But they may be forgetting that that's only one tip of the country. For Christ's sake, there's 80% of the country that don't live in a system like that. So, at any event, we'll work this out.
Definitely. I think people will see both sides. I mean, there's people out there that talk about they don't want to see marijuana as food taxed. And that's...
Oh, I know. I know. I mean, we get into debates, for example, about the tomato model versus an alcohol model, and whether you should allow it to be taxed or whatever. Again, those are fine. And frankly, when we get into that final phase, NORML's role, without question, will be to represent the consumer. The industry is going to be well represented. There's a lot of money to be made in this industry. And so, like any other industry, they'll be well represented. We want to make sure that the smoker, the consumer, is also well represented. And frankly, what smokers want essentially is what consumers want in any other field. We want a high-quality product that's affordable and convenient.
Yes.
And so, as long as we have that, then it doesn't bother me what the industry does or government does, as long as they leave me alone and let me have high-quality marijuana that's affordable and convenient. And I want the right to grow my own, so that if the system they offer it doesn't provide a good quality product, then we'll grow our own.
There you go.
You don't have to fake a stomach ache for it.
And that settles it for everybody. Like what it's not that difficult when it comes down to it, is it really?
No, I think not. Well, I think partly it is that there's a lot of passion in any social movement, and so part of the overreaction we're seeing and feeling from some people just reflects the fact that they care about the issue.
Sure.
So that's not all bad.
Yeah, so let's
I think what you said is right on about, you know, as we're seeing the light, it's becoming something that is tangible, that we can grasp and hold on to as this very real, seeing marijuana legalized in our lifetimes, and hopefully, all sorts of other psychoactives, and we're at the tipping point for sure, and it's kind of refreshing in a way that people feel that it's possible and are therefore
it's amazing
squabbling about it. There's something to squabble over.
It really was amazing to see how many comments and how many posts and how many, because NORML does touch that many people.
Oh yeah, and also I recognize that for an awful lot of those people, to hear NORML say anything that sounded as if it might be critical of any aspect of legalization was probably a little shocking. And by the way, as is always the case, I'm sure if we would have been writing for public consumption, we would have chosen our language a little more carefully, and I suspect so would some of those people who responded so strongly against us. So, again, keep in mind that was intended as a private communication. It ended up obviously being circulated to the world. But the essence of what Alan was saying really does represent where we are, I think, as a movement. So
I couldn't agree more. And thank you so much for calling in and clearing this up for us.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for calling. Good luck with your program.
Well, before you leave, tell us where people can find people start chapters, people do all sorts of things with NORML. Where can people find more information and get in touch?
Everything I think is on the website now. I mean, obviously we're still there to answer phones or email or whatever. But if you just go to our website, we've recently spent several months redesigning it. There's all kinds of information, almost anything you could want, including if you want to start a chapter, if you want to get in touch with a chapter that's already working, if you want model legislation, whatever you want. And by the way, if any of your listeners have a specific question, my email is just keith@normal.org, KEITH @normal.org. So drop us an email, tell us how we can help you, and we'll do our best to respond.
Thank you very much, Keith.
Thank you so much.
Good luck at MassCann.
Awesome. That was Keith Stroup.
Stroup.
Stroup. I keep saying
you did
I'm
like
dyslexic.
Twice again.
Yeah, I know. I'm nervous. The interview's over and I'm still nervous. We have instant feedback.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, that was a great. That was good. I think that was a great interview, and we can read the instant feedback. But what did you think about Keith Stroup?
I thought he had excellent things to say. That was. I thought he was right on.
Can we poll the audience, because we got one instant feedback, and we got people in the studio that aren't as crazy as we are. What do they think about it?
God help them.
What do you think, Mike Simpson, about the whole phone call, the controversy? What do you think?
I thought everything was on point, excellent. Good going back and forth. I enjoyed it.
All right. And Carmelita?
I think that Keith's very wise, and he's keeping his eye on the ball, and that's and keeping everything in perspective and together, and understanding what the issues are, and division between two separate things, medical and general legalization. Division there is just going to kill the whole thing. People have to be realistic about both and work together on both, or if they choose not to work together and go with one or the other, then no slamming.
All right. There you go. Boston music legend.
We got our
right
eyes
there.
on the same prize here.
An activist. Carmelita is a major league, so she's.
That's what I meant to say. The eyes on the prize, on the ball. What?
I was saying that we all have our eyes on the same prize. We're all going towards the same thing. We all got the right momentum and the right. I don't know. I think that was he had a very healing way of conceptualizing this big ego match that doesn't need to go any further. I think he's right. It'll be behind us soon. But what it did do is it sparked a great conversation.
Yeah, it did. It sparked a dialogue. Yeah. And people started talking to each other again. Maybe not so nicely, but we're talking, and we'll work it out. And Rich Fu emailed us, instant feedbacked us. He's been listening to the show. Rich is a great person. He has a show on KOPproductions.com with our friend Michael Malta and them. And he sent us an instant feedback. He said, being so many in such a small room, I am surprised I haven't heard a stop touching me there. I read it kind of messed up, but you get it. He's basically saying we're in a. Let me read that again. So many people in a small room. I'm surprised I haven't heard a stop touching me there.
Well, nobody's telling each other to stop.
That's exactly it. It's like, give me more. Give me more. I want more.
All right, what happens when you get a little solo sex in the room.
Yeah. What are we doing now, Mike Newman?
We got some music from FBI, John and Charlie, and then Illegal.
Oh, here's our jukebox.
Illegal. She came to one of our shows once.
Yeah.
Shout out to Illegal.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not down with the club.
Two Hotheads on Cannabis with Mike Cann and Heather Mack on unregularradio.com.
You're listening to Two Hotheads on Cannabis.
Yes, you are.
It's been a big show already, hasn't it, Heather?
My head is pretty hot and pretty big from all the sweet compliments I've been getting from you guys. So thanks for having me. I'm having a blast. I'm really glad to be doing this. And that was an excellent song. Once again, Mr. Simpson right here.
Thank you.
Wonderful request.
What was the song again, Simpson?
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Rick James.
Yeah,
Rick
there you go.
James and Mary Jane.
Yeah.
He even had his Mary Jane girls.
Oh, absolutely.
That's he's really thinking about it. He's got his girls doing Mary Jane, right?
Yeah.
What was their song? Our House. Yeah, there we go.
I met him a couple of times out in Hollywood a long time ago.
And what was he like?
Wow.
Oh, he was cool. Yeah. He had 2 women with him too. Always. He was nice.
He was nice. Rick James.
Really great personality.
Yeah.
He's an old band member of Neil Young.
Oh, yeah?
Up in Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
That's where he's from.
All right. He's from Buffalo. All right.
Yeah,
good to know.
Little background on the song we played.
Yeah.
Thank you, Simpson.
No, thank you.
So we had a big show today. We talked to Matt Simon.
Yes,
which was very interesting on the work he's doing and how close they really are in New Hampshire. Maybe if they get a new governor, is that the answer up there?
We'll see. I mean, even that didn't even seem to be that prohibitive. I mean, seems like the governor might be willing to pass this bill for him.
He's got his last year.
I'm just jealous that their legislators actually listen to them.
Yeah, like he acted like it was nonchalant, like the work he had done. It's like, wow, if we could get it voted on in Mass just for once. We've been waiting how many years to get a vote?
It's so funny.
He's getting a vote year after year and winning.
I remember like one of my first sort of missions in the activist scene when I started at the UMass Cannabis Reform Coalition was we would get these decrim cards signed for various decrim bills. And I remember one trip that we took, it was like all public transportation all over Massachusetts, going up to people and being like, hey, can you sign these little postcards that say that you'd support medical marijuana or yeah, I think it was medical at that point, or decrim, I forget. But and we, everybody was signing, and we'd go up and drop stacks of these things on the desks of all the legislators, the state reps, and the senators and stuff. And yeah, it's great to know that they didn't care at all. But at least in
no, I mean that's we've made progress in Mass. Don't discount the progress that we have done, and those things that you have done and we've all done. They have counted because we have more state legislatures. Reps and senators in Massachusetts signing on to the medical marijuana and legalization bills. So we are making progress.
True. Ellen Story, the representative from Amherst, became a big proponent of legalizing marijuana after running against another old friend of mine, Dan Mellick, who ran against her for state representative on a purely legalization platform. Yep. And she had never come out in favor of it before, but she said to him as a result of that campaign that even though he got like 4% of the vote, it made a big difference, and she decided to endorse it. Yeah. And so that's great. Politicians are coming out of the stoner closet, and well, not necessarily. I'm not implying that Ellen Story is totally.
But they're recognizing the power.
Absolutely.
Of the message, because we do garner votes, we do garner headlines, we do garner press, we do garner great people. I mean, I look around in this room, I'm very excited about the show today and where we're going with this. And you listen.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Two Hotheads on Cannabis. We're playing a lot of applause tracks.
Yeah, we have.
Newman loves us today.
Crawford.
Why do you love it, Newman, today?
Oh, we got a whole new vibe in here today.
Yeah.
And we got pictures and videos and Heather, Mack.
Yeah.
And Carmelita and Simpson.
I don't get a laugh
Prescott.
track.
Everybody's here.
I haven't earned my laugh track. I mean my clapping track yet. I'd rather have the real thing.
We had some instant feedback. So we should go phone calls. I can't believe 617-606-4122. If you're listening, give us a call. Tell us, give us a little instant feedback on the show. And Heather, you had talked to Terry.
I have.
About what's going on in New Hampshire. What did he have to say? What is his experience been up there? The campaign trail.
Basically, for the most part, he said it's been really incredibly positive, and he's they've been making a pretty significant, making their presence known, making an impact on the conversation, and getting some media coverage. He said he wishes there were more people, as always, to come out. And I agree. I mean, we do get 20,000 people at the Freedom Rally or more. I don't even know how many were at the Freedom Rally.
Oh, I think it was like probably at least 50 this year, maybe even more. I mean. It was one of the biggest, if not biggest, of all time last year. It's getting big.
So let's get a couple hundred out in New Hampshire. I mean, it's like I said, it's over on Tuesday. Let's go. Let's let's continue making a stink.
Yeah.
Making a fuss.
And we're about to hit some music, but before we do that, I want to ask you another question about Terry up in New Hampshire. Did he say, because I know that they're attending these events. I saw them talking to Rick Santorum as he's walking by. Are they able to get into the events? They're having these town hall meetings. Are they able to question these candidates? Are they getting in? Are there any problems with that?
He didn't mention that, and so I'm wondering if they're probably able at least to get inside. I doubt they're going to be given opportunities to question the candidates because of the fact that those are cherry picked before the events anyway. But yeah, I would assume that they're getting inside, and but really the main thing that they're doing is standing outside and interacting with all the people coming in and out, and interacting with the media, which is huge. And they're doing a really excellent job.
Definitely.
And they're gonna continue doing it. And I believe that the goal of the Freedom Bus is it's portable, so they're gonna continue on to other primary states and continue the discussion. So
yeah, because Carmelita was saying today about the police, and she was up there. There's a lot of I'm hearing some reports that people are actually getting almost like profiled at these meetings, and like Mitt Romney's people with the police are kicking people out. It's like, you know what? If you come to New Hampshire and you come to speak to the people and you're running for president, that means you speak to all the people. If that person waits in line and is there and they haven't even goddamn asked a question yet, and you're kicking them out, you shouldn't be running for president. Period. Unless that person's a stalker and you have a restraining order against them, I'm not. If anyone wants to show up on my radio show and call in, you got the phone number 617-606-4122. You want to call me out on anything, I'm here. If you can't do that as president, come on. So I don't know what's going on in the Romney campaign, but I'm calling that out.
MassCann president.
Yeah, I'm the MassCann president right now for a short time longer. Yeah. And then I'm gonna be the MassCann watchdog after that. That's going to be my new unofficial title. I'm going to actually ask if they'll hire me to do that.
Is that right?
like a bouncer?
Yeah. Just to make sure things, work correctly.
That works out about that.
Yeah, they might not want. They could fire me. I'm a fireable person. If you want to fire me, that's fine.
I was going to say, if that works out, Mike,
you're fired.
If that works out, can we start calling you Dog?
Dog?
Yeah, Watchdog.
Oh no! No, come on. It's like, come on. Call me Mike Can. Don't call me Can. Or call me Mr. I don't know.
Don't call me Dog.
What is Sarah Sparks? What do you call me?
Call you?
Yeah. She's off mic, and I'm asking her. I don't know. Let me ask someone else that's on mic. But I don't know. Just call me whatever you want. Just don't call me Dog. I'm not a dog.
All right.
I'm definitely. Do I look like a dog?
No, so next subject.
Wow, Newman, you're getting that.
We got some music going on
We had this good vibe of all this love going on, and now Newman's...
Well, you put me on the spot. So.
Newman saved my ass last week. We haven't even gotten to that. There's this whole Ron Paul viral video that we had from last week. We put it up on YouTube. It got like 1,100 views in like one day. And it was like some people hated me and some people hated Newman. And I'm like, Newman, thank you. You saved my ass. It was a great, I was terrible. John Loftus was funny as hell. He basically called me Bill O'Reilly at one point, and I totally deserved it, and I was. And he is a great friggin' board op, producer, owner of the station. We had a great show today.
We're being too nice. This is not hot-headed.
It is hot-headed.
All right.
Don't get me going.
I'll separate you two.
Well, you might have to separate us. And not in the way that not in the old way.
Standing up.
It's going to be violent, but it's...
Oh, man.
I don't know what I signed up for here.
Yeah.
No, I had a great time. This was an awesome show.
Yeah.
I appreciate all you guys in this room and everyone who called in today or who we spoke to. I would love to get some some hate tweets and some vitriolic Facebook posts, but also love is always appreciated. So you should call us. Talk to us. Talk to me.
All right, Newman for once actually gave me the song, so I was going to announce it, but now I can't find it, so I'm going back to Newman. Newman, what is this?
Hey, Newman, can I just make a request?
Oh, he's got it on the wall.
Can I make a request before Newman plays the song?
Yeah.
Can you do Ian's rap thing?
Yeah, I've got that coming up this break.
All right. So we're going to listen to Ian, who is Carmelita's son, who came into the studio and did a phenomenal job. And he's going to do his little trailer on the THC show that Carmelita especially edited up for us this week. Thank you for the promos, Mike Newman and Carmelita. And we'll be back. We'll say our goodbyes, but we're going to listen to The Who, Magic Bus, and Ian's Two Hotheads on Cannabis Rap.
OnRegularRadio.com.
FreeMassMedia.com is a local news and entertainment media team. FreeMassMedia.com supports free speech media outlets like Unregular Radio, The THC Show, KOP Productions, and more. Check out FreeMassMedia.com for exclusive videos, interviews, and blogs, and connect with Boston's best indie media outlets. FreeMassMedia.com is an official sponsor of the THC Show on UnregularRadio.com.
Sitting here with hotheads on cannabis. Up in the studio, freestyle, no planning this. Up with my honey from the city of DC. It's easy to see he be EC in the city. He born in, raising hell no rebel. Time to rock the bells. It's two hotheads on cannabis. Yo, pass the joint. If you ain't listening to the show, then you're missing the point. Get it?
You are listening to Two Hotheads on Cannabis on UnregularRadio.com.
That was.
Oh man, that was ill. That was ill.
Ian's
props
amazing.
to Ian.
Yeah, mad props to Ian.
And to know that was a freestyle on the spot.
On the spot.
As from one rapper to another, Ian, that is like that was pretty miraculous. And from one rapper to a co-host, I can't believe you did that to him. That is like.
Oh, well, I saw it on TV. I saw him do it on cable access TV, and I was blown away. And I was like, I can't believe I'm sitting next to this kid every day and didn't know he could do this amazing thing. And it's like,
no.
And now you're in my studio, and you better do it right now, kid. You better do it. Do it.
You know what? He rose to the occasion. That wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been mean.
Yeah, and especially in front of his girlfriend, because it's like
rough.
I like the girl, we like the girl. And it's like show her what Ian can do.
That's even meaner.
Well, no, he aced it. He aced it.
That's
he
true.
killed it. That was So we're wrapping up the show. We want to thank everyone that came in this week. Mike Simpson, Nikki, and Tommy here. Say hi. I don't even know if you guys said hello.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, we did. We had Nikki on earlier. We talked about
Wait, let her.
Can I plug the contest?
Yeah, next couple of weeks we got some big things coming up. What is the big thing that we're doing with Free Mass Media?
Free Mass Media and the THC Show is going to be giving away a Vapor Brothers vaporizer. So go to freemassmedia.com. There's a sign-up sheet. Totally for free.
And this thing's nice. I mean, we had it in the studio, one of them, and I mean, how do we explain this thing? It's a friggin' nice piece. It's
awesome. It's just like it's not like smoking. It's just like breathing in the air that you're breathing in now. It's amazing.
And we have pictures. You can look at our THC show.
Yeah, there's
Two Hotheads on Cannabis Show.
Today's show and all sorts of good stuff.
And,
thank you guys.
Thank you. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some huge guests, too. Hopefully next week. We're not sure about this, but I'm not even going to announce the name because I can't announce it yet. But I can say that DJ Slim is hopefully hooking us up with something very big. We're working with DJ Slim. He's a major person that I love, and we work together on things sometimes. We call each other Batman and Robin. We met Tommy Chong together with Carmelita.
Who's who?
And well, either way.
That's
and
right.
we don't care. We're both Batman. We're both Robin. We're a team. And so all I can say is we need to figure out, Newman, if we can make international calls. And this person is a star in our community. So let's find out.
We'll find out.
All right.
And
so let's thank everyone in the studio. Glenn Prescott thank you very much for being here.
Yep. Thank you for having me back. I've been out.
Gratuitous clap, Jack.
Sarah Sparks for taking her awesome photos and documenting our awesomeness today, hopefully. And Keith Stroup from NORML for calling in.
Stroup.
See, I keep saying it wrong.
You're gonna have Stroup throat by the end.
He's Stroup. He was amazing today too. And he really, you know. And Mr. Newman behind the boards.
Absolutely.
Loud applause for me.
And you said Mike Simpson, right?
Oh yeah, we said Simpson, big Mike Simpson.
And what about the new hothead on Cannabis?
What's her name? Heather Mack. We all know her name. Heather Mack.
Thank you guys.
And I'm the other co-host, Mike Cann, and we got to say goodbye. So why don't you say goodbye this week, Heather?
Say goodbye with
Is this like saying grace?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us this day our daily blunt and forgive us our last year's trespasses, for we are embarking on a new era of awesomeness. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you guys.
All right.
See you next week.
Peace out.